My name is Mark Miner. I am an investigative writer and author. In my travels, I've investigated many people and places. Watch as I seek out stories that are typically outside of the box of normal. I am the Seeker. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. So we actually covered a little bit on false memories when I did the episode of Mandela Effect, but we're going to go into it a little bit deeper today. So although memories seem to be a solid, straightforward sum of who people are, strong evidence suggests that memories are much more quite complex, highly subject to change, and often unreliable. Memories of past events can be reconstructed as people age or as their worldview changes. People regularly recall childhood events falsely and through effective suggestions and other methods. It's been proven that they can even create new false memories. A person's malleable memories often involve the mundane, such as when we second guess whether the stove really is off or on. But they can often be for more consequential, such as unreliable eyewitness recollections of a crime. Human memory is pliable and easy to manipulate. A distorted memory or the introduction of later false information can affect how we recall events we experienced firsthand. A person's existing knowledge can impede and obstructs their own memory, leading to a newly formed, cobbled together recollection that does not accurately reflect reality. Also, under certain circumstances, a person can be given false information and be convinced to believe that an event that never occurred actually did. So I actually have a personal story on this. When I was a kid, I was about 2 years old, almost 2 years old. I was at home, and I had a little sister who was just a baby in a crib, and I was at home taking a nap on one of the bunk beds in my sister's room, on the bottom bunk bed. And something woke me up, and I heard noises under my bed. Of course, I wanted to just pull the covers over my eyes, but I couldn't. I was too curious. So I looked under the bed, and I saw something. I saw a creature, and it frightened me. So I threw the covers off, jumped off the bed the best I can, and ran out into the hallway, down the hallway, into the kitchen, and jumped on my mother's lap where she was at the table visiting with my Uncle Johnny. And under the table, what I remembered growing up was a monkey that was playing with my toes, and it frightened me. And then that's kind of when I blacked out. But later on in life, I learned that that was not a monkey, that it had been something else. I'm not going to go into what it was. But how I found that out was when I got some therapy later in life, I went through some hypnotherapy, and I found out the truth. And I think the reason why I thought it was a monkey was because my siblings told me that there was an escaped monkey from the zoo when I was younger and in that house at that time. And so I associated that with being a monkey. Now, presented with incomplete information, the brain seeks to fill in the blanks. If you see a photo of a person you have never met, for example, and mutual friends share descriptive details on time spent with that person, you may start to believe that you have, in fact, met this individual. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus of the University of California at Irvine, an influential researcher on memory who has consulted on many high-level cases involving disputed memories, including the McMartin preschool sexual abuse allegations. Remember that? She notes that everyone embellishes or adds to their memories during recall or recounting. Over time, those changes, accurate or not, become part of the memory in the mind. Loftus warns us that human memory is not a recording device, but more like a Wikipedia page. You can change it, but others can too. I also have another story for you that shows how false memories can be created. So when I was in basic training, I was in the Navy, and I wanted to try out for the SEALs. And so in basic training, that's the only time you really get to try out at the beginning of entering into the service. Later on, you can if you want. But anyways, so I was in basic training, and there was another ensign with me, or person in basic training. We were called ensigns, and he wanted to try out for the SEALs too. Well, my commander told us that if we try out for the SEALs and we fail, and we come back to the barracks, we are going to walk up and down or go up and down the barracks on our knees, clapping our hands and yelping like a seal if we failed. So, no pressure, right? So when we were told to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and double time it, which is running, to the gymnasium from our barracks, which was about half a block away, we were very tired. We were very stressed. We knew that we had to pass this, but it was a very hard test. It's very physically hard to pass this test. You have to pass the physical test before you take the written test, which is the mental part of it. So, anyways, so double timing it across the base, there's a highway that ran over the base. So we had to run under the highway, which is like a tunnel. And so as we're double timing it, that tunnel is quite dark. It's got a few lights in it. When we double timed it and we hit that tunnel, ahead at the other end of the tunnel, we saw what looked like someone very high ranking and with a lot of brass. So in the service, when you're met or approached by someone with high ranking, you are to stop, walk, and then once you get to a certain space between you, you're to stop and salute until he or she salutes, and then you carry on. And that's kind of what we did. However, once we saw the person coming towards us, the high ranking officer, and as we kind of diverted our eyes down, we didn't want to keep staring at him, but we knew he was there, coming towards us. We could hear the footsteps and everything. Once we got about halfway and we figured we were coming right up on top of this officer, we looked up and no one was there. There was nowhere for this man to have gone, and it freaked us out. We stopped dead in our tracks, and we just kind of shrugged it off and double timed it to the gymnasium, simply because we were under a time crunch and we had to be there at a certain time. Otherwise, you automatically flunk. So that is a memory to me. So years and years later, about 20 years later, I was talking with that man that was with me when we double timed it, the ensign, and he told me that he had no recollection of that. I didn't understand why he was lying, but it made me think, did I create that myself? I was half asleep when I was double timing it. And I don't know if anybody's been through basic training, but it does put quite a pressure on you and creates a lot of stress, and you're tired a lot. So maybe that was a false memory I created in my head. Again, later on in life, I did hypnotherapy to get through over some issues, and that memory could not be recalled in detail with me. It's the memory as if I just told you. There was no other details. So we considered it a false memory. So I would just want to thank you guys, again, about joining me on this episode. Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about the influences, of false memories? Did your siblings or your family tell you a certain story, and then later in life you found out that that wasn't true, but you believed it, and so it kind of became like a substitute memory for you or a false memory for you? Do you have any examples of that? Let me know in the comments. This is very fascinating, and it makes you question whether you remember things accurately or not. And I've caught a few things in my own life that were not necessarily true, or were either embellished or not given enough information. And so I filled in the blanks myself. And going through hypnotherapy, I was able to pull up a lot of those memories and straighten those out. And so Anyways, I do recommend anybody go through hypnotherapy. I really do. It's not as scary as you think it is, and it's nothing like you see on TV. Anyways, so thank you again, guys, for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this video and got a little bit of insight from me on a personal level, with monkeys and ghosts, which is weird. Anyways, so you guys have a great day. Remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and I will totally see you on the next adventure. All right? Thanks, guys.